This is what we're going to be modeling and texturing this little book cart. All right, and I'm providing a reference image for you. This is the reference image here. I'll have a download link in the description. And once you bring it in front view, press S3 to scale it 3 times. I'm going to press G and I'm going to drag it sort of to the middle. We can adjust this of this side view. Press 3 to look from the side and pull it back in the Y a little bit. So when we press 1, it's out of the way a little bit. Okay, so let's get started with this. I'm going to press Shift A, Mesh Plane, go into Edit Mode. There's my plane. I'm going to rotate X90, and I'm going to scale it in so that the vertices are right in the middle of the bars. And if they're not, I'm just going to select the background image and press GX, hold down Shift and move it to the left or the right to center it as much as possible. So that's pretty good. All right, I'm going to go back into wireframe now. Box select these bottom vertices and pull them just to about the bottom of the bars there. And grab these ones and pull them up to about the center of the curve here. Maybe a little bit higher. All right, make sure those two are selected, and we're going to bevel those with Shift Control B, pull, and I'm probably going to move that up a little bit further. So maybe we'll go to the top of the bar. Then Shift Control B, pull down, and then roll up 1, 2, 3. That's a total of 5. Actually, I'm going to pull those down. So there were 5 vertices in there, pull them down, and then we'll match that curve a little bit better. And now let's come down to the bottom here and select this bottom edge, X edges, and we'll have just that. Okay, right click and convert to curve. And in the curve dialog box under geometry, bevel depth, hold Shift and pull and try to match the thickness of that bar right there. Something like that. Close enough for now. I'm going to go back into edit mode, rotate Z90, and then slide it over to this image here. And that's pretty good. And I'm going to duplicate it and pull it over to this side. That's pretty good as well. So now select both of them and Shift S, cursor to selected. Let's make the shelf units now. Shift A, Mesh Plane. Let's scale this in the X till it pretty much touches the bar. I'm just going to move it up, and we'll adjust that in a bit. As far as the width goes, I can't see it too well here. It comes out just a little bit past the bar. So let's do that. I'm going to look down from the top, and I'm going to scale it in the Y till it just pokes out in front a little bit like that. Okay, that's close enough. Let's get the thickness of this, or the height. Let's extrude. Press E and extrude and just pull up to about there. And we have our piece there. I'm going to Alt-N recalculate outside in case it was flipped. So we have that one. Now we're going to do this piece here. I'm just going to take this and Shift D. I'm going to go into edit mode and rotate X90. Should be right in the middle. I'm going to pull up this bottom, press 3 for face selection, grab this, and I'm going to pull it up a little bit higher so I start to see it. And then I'll look from the front, and I'm going to pull it down. I'm going to be beveling this in a bit, so it's okay if there's a little bit of a gap. So we got that. And select the whole thing, and let's see, go into wireframe, scale it in the X, because we're going to have these pieces right here, the rounded pieces on the end. And while we're here, might as well grab just the top and pull it down to the right height, just around there. Okay, so we've got that. I want it a little bit thinner though than this piece here, so I'm just going to scale it in the Y just by eye. I'm just going to pull it in. Maybe it's about 3/4 of the thickness. All right, now let's take this. We're going to make the curved pieces. Shift D and go to edit mode, rotate Z90, and I'm going to take this piece and slide it down to the end to make that curved piece there. And it's going to be approximately the width of this, so let's scale in the Y and start pulling it in. SY, and get it roughly to match. Remember, this is wood, so it doesn't perfectly have to line up. We can adjust the positions of these things in a bit. The height is the same height as that. So let's, in edge selection, grab that edge, and now we're going to make the curve, and we're not doing it on the diagram. We're just going to look how it curves and flattens out. So just go Control B and pull and get a curve that you like. That's got 5 segments to it. I'm going to roll up so there's 7, so it's a bit smoother like that. Okay, and that piece I can mirror over to the other side like that. Now we're going to have a look and position things a little bit differently if we need to. So I think what we'll do is we'll take maybe that piece, maybe we'll slide it in a little bit, and maybe let's shade smooth those. Well, we're going to bevel things, so let's not do that yet. So let's focus on that piece, and I'm going to bevel this just by hand or manually. I'm going to select the corners and edge selection, and I'm going to bevel these, and I think I'll just use 3. Okay, just a small, no, I'm not. I'm going to use 5. And the top and the bottom, however, I'm going to bevel with 3, so roll back to 2, 3. Just a little bit of a bevel to catch some light. And we'll repeat that for every piece. I'm going to focus on this one. And I think for this, I will do these vertical edges first. And we'll bevel a little bit like this. And the whole top. And the whole bottom, because although you'd think you'd get rid of the bottom, it's resting on the other piece, so I might keep it. So that's that beveled. I'm just going to leave it like that. And this one is mirrored, so I can just do that piece. So I'll even shut the mirror off and focus just on this. And let's see, for this, let's in face selection, select that face and that one. And we'll bevel the sort of top and bottom, or the left and the right, just with 3 like that. And then we'll do these bottom corners. Shift Alt and click though in edge selection, because the bevel has added more polys. So let's get it all. Shift Alt and click, just with 3, a little bit of a bevel. That takes care of that. And the other side we can shade smooth. We'll deal with any shading issues later. We're going to be joining these in a second. So let's put the mirror back on there. Let's just want to double check that I like how all of that is. And I think I'm going to move these in a little bit like that. And in which case, do I want, let's see. No, I think I'm satisfied with that. So with that done, I'm going to apply this mirror, and I'm going to select all that and join it. And I probably would put on weighted normal and normal's auto smooth just to adjust any shading issues. Let's come over to the cavity shader, the shadow, change this to both, and bring these values up just to make it look a little bit better. And let's just compare on our diagram. All right, we're pretty close. So we've got that. And if you really wanted to, you could select a little bit of this one. Maybe I would scale this in the X just a little bit more. I don't know. Nah, whatever. All right, so we got that. Let's just take that and just duplicate it in object mode. That's fine. Pull it down and position it. I'm going to have 3 of these. Shift D. Another one down there. That's fine. So we've got this so far. These are still curves. Okay. And all right, let's work on the wheels now. Select that vertex, Shift S, cursor to selected, and we can bring things right into there. So we'll be a little bit off the diagram. In fact, maybe to make this a bit easier, I might GX, I might move the diagram over just to match this a little bit better. And yeah, all right, so I'm going to bring in a cylinder first, and we'll go for maybe 18 or 16 vertices with nothing so that it's open. Scale that down and press the period key to zoom in. We'll keep scaling. We'll go to there. And it's just got to be wider than the leg itself. I can go into wireframe and grab that. I'll pull it down maybe to about there. And that one's fine. So let's look at this. All right, I'm going to take this and E and S and pull it in so it makes contact and goes under a bit. Bevel this with 3. That's really all we need to do with that piece. I can shade smooth. That might be flipped. We may have other stuff flipped. No, it's not. Good. Okay. So to do this piece here, I've got my 3D cursor there. That's fine. I'm going to bring in a plane. scale it down and pull it down to here, and I can pull it forward so that this edge lines up, and looks like that edge lines up pretty good too. The only thing is the width, and we're just going to have to eyeball this, so I might make it sort of equal, you know, the back and the sides, or close. It doesn't really matter that much. All right, I'm going to take this and extrude it down. I'll go into wireframe. I'm just going to pull down until this edge here, the bottom, is at the bottom of this curve that comes down like this. All right, so we have that. Then I'm still in wireframe, 1 for vertex selection. I'm going to box select both of those and pull them over. And that's basically going to be the shape. All right, now we're going to cut out faces. So the front to back and the bottom X faces. So we have this shape. All right, I'm going to Alt N recalculate outside in case. I'm going to give this some thickness with E and Alt S, and I'm going to pull and give it some thickness like that. All right, now we'll come in edge selection to this edge and this edge, and this edge and this edge, and we'll round them a little bit. I'm not really looking at the diagram now. I'm just doing what I want to do. Control B and pull. You can do it a lot or a little. I'm going to roll my mouse up so it looks like a nice curve. That looks like it's probably about 7. You can press C for clamping and have them meet. Roll your mouse up. I'm just trying to decide if I like that. I think I might. It's a little bit of an odd shape, so I'm not going to do it that way. I'm just going to pull. I'm going to roll back to there's 3, 4, 5. That's probably enough. I'm just going to do something like that. Okay, so that'll be curved. In edge selection, Shift Alt and click here and here. We're going to do another bevel, Control B, and there's 2, 3 is probably fine, but I like to take it up to 5. Shift Alt and click the edges and make sure you get everything all the way around on the top and on the bottom, or the outside and the inside, whatever you want to call that. All right, so we're going to have to do a few clicks. Just want to make sure that I've got everything. I think I don't. Now I think I do. Okay, get yourself a vantage point, Control B and pull. I just need 3, so roll back to 2, 3. Do that, and we'll shade smooth. And I can take these 2 things and join them. Yeah, that's okay. All right, let's make the wheel. Shift A, mesh, circle. Let's go for maybe 22, so it's somewhat smooth. Rotate X 90, and then just G to pull it down. Scale it. We'll do F to make a face and look in wireframe. Make sure you're looking orthographic, and just use G and pull. Just make sure it's not going above there. You know, it's pretty much like on the diagram there. So that's what we have, and it looks like it fits. All right, I'm going to use Solidify to give this some thickness. Click on Solidify, but the offset I'm going to set at 0. And then you'll see the line in the middle. Now I can just increase the thickness and it'll go out on either side. And just use your common sense for how thick you want to make this wheel. I'm going to do something like that. All right, go back in object mode and we will apply that. Come in and select this face and this face. Look from the front in wireframe and I to inset and pull it in to this line like that. Back into solid view. We're going to inset these a bit or extrude them in, E, and then SY, and just pull in so you have a little bit of a indentation there, like that. That's the word I was looking for. 2 for edge selection, Shift Alt and click those edges and those edges. Give this a bevel with 3, that's fine. But 1 more inset, select that and that. Just for shading purposes, I to inset, do that. And we can shade smooth. Now, you know what? I might want that a little bit wider as a wheel. Okay. Now we still need to make the bolt that holds the wheel. So let's select that face and that face. And we will Shift D to duplicate, P to break it out. So we have that. I'm going to go in. I'm going to switch to individual origins. And I'm going to start pressing S. And that's going to scale them down. Let's look from the front. And we may be off the diagram a little bit. So there's the bolt. And so I just want to think about this for a second. This curve it makes the bolt not quite in the middle. So I'll fix that in a minute. So let's now switch back to median point and go there. And I'm going to SY. And that's going to pull them out past here. SY. I don't want them sticking out too far. Something like that. And let's connect them to make a cylinder. Control E, bridge edge loops. And then in 3 face selection, select there and there. And bevel this with 3. So that should be fine. And then we just look at this. And let's see if I can fix this. And I probably can. It's going to wireframe on this and box select these. And hopefully I won't mess up too much. Just pull it out a little bit. That's fine for the distance you're going to see it at. Let's have a look at this. Okay, this is flipped. Let's recalculate outside. Everything else looks good. So there is that. And now we can select maybe the bars again. We're going to select them all. Shift S cursor to select it so we can mirror this wheel. Actually, let's join the wheel to this. Control J. And now we can set the origin to the 3D cursor, and we can mirror that wheel. Not that way though, in the Y, so that they stick and they face the same orientation. And looking from the front, I can even hide the reference image now. Looking from the front, I'll go into wireframe, duplicate, and pull it out here, zoom in, and just get this in the position that would work for that wheel as well. And we have that. Double check everything. Okay. I don't think there's any vertices to merge. And that is the cart right there. All right. You can then just decide if you like the width of everything. We'll have to convert this to a mesh. And we could do that all that right now. It's a curve right now. Let's switch this to maybe 3. And then just convert to mesh. And if you want, you can put a subdivision of 1 on there if you feel the need to. I'll leave that on. Everything else looks okay for now. And I think in the next video, we will do the texturing of this. We're going to texture it in Substance Painter. We're going to build a metal texture, and we're going to build a nice wood texture so that it ends up looking something like this. All right, so we'll see you in the next video.